know you left No Limit basically when you had just came out with like a bomb album. It was, charting. It was hot. And I know your parents had passed away, then your grandmother had passed away, and you just decided to leave and, had time to grieve and everything like that. But why did you never come back to rapping after you had your time to grieve, your family's passing?
Well, pretty much the No Limit that I knew, that No Limit was gone. And so I felt comfortable working with the boys for as many years that I worked with them. And I honestly, we created a movement. And I didn't feel comfortable going anywhere else and being a part of that movement because I had already contributed to a movement that was so big. And so after that, I just started concentrating on cooking, and I would just do music for fun and just started trying to get better and better at the craft and branding myself, with food because my family was popular in New Orleans for cooking. And so I just went back to the first thing I did, before rapping. And like I said, what was left of No Limit, I didn't feel there was a place for me there after I had left.
Do you still have a relationship with Master P, like friends or any other your past label mates or anything like that?
Oh my goodness. I spend so much time with Fiend.
Okay.
And KL, spent a lot of time with him. KL's son is a chef like myself, and he's also my godchild.
Okay.
So I see Fiend and KL a lot. I see Mr. Servon a lot. I talk to Silk on the phone a lot, but they live in California. I live in New Orleans. Whenever I see any of the guys, I'm always excited because they are my brothers. And the ones that I ran with when I was on the tank, I pretty much still run with those, with the exception we lost Big Ed, he died. But everybody else that I ran with, we still run.
Do you feel like when Master P went after to play basketball that the artists on the record label started getting the short end of the stick and start losing focus on the artists?
When he started playing ball, I felt honestly like, that was a dream he had. And that the artist had to, or the company, the music part of the label had to kind of like accept the fact that whether it's our dream or not, it was happening. Right? All I did was step up. I was on more choruses. I did more songs. I did the things that he did. He asked me to step up, and that's what I did. As far as the personal business that we did, I think it suffered a little bit from the fact of being able to hit him on his jack, hit him on the phone, and be like, "Yo, right?" Opposed to now you had a few middlemen as far as communication. So I think that kind of, I think it kind of hindered us a little bit. But hey, if he was pursuing his dreams, I wasn't mad at him at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, go do that. You know what I'm saying? You got one life to live. By all means, get it out,
And I know everyone, basically when you all came on to No Limit Records with Master P, y'all brought on basically Beats by the Pound, and y'all really didn't want to work with other producers at the time. So do you feel like after that argument between Master P and Beats by the Pound that caused them to leave, do you think this was a major part why artists start to leave the record label as well?
Me personally, it's not that I didn't want to work with other producers. I just had so much of a bond that can trust these guys to facilitate what I needed. Right. My confusion was just that as a young man, not really knowing all four corners of business of music then, I just looked at it like I didn't know how was it going to play out for me if things didn't work well with these guys who wore, parts of an engine, parts of tires. You know what I'm saying? Like I was that, and I never had a personal outlook on P like you did me wrong or something. You know what I'm saying? I just looked at it like this is like evidently a seasonal thing, a transitional thing in your life, and by the grace of God and the ancestors, you're prepared for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just the production, because Pete told me one time, you know what I mean? I don't know what's going on with Beats by the Pound, but you'll be straight. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I did not necessarily knock his vision. I didn't say that. I didn't think that he didn't know what he was talking about. I was just so connected with these people, and I just couldn't process it. You know what I'm saying? I just couldn't process it. But hey man, what do you think? You know?
Well, from watching the documentary, it seemed like they did start to play. I guess it kind of goes into my next question. It starts to play where it feels like this, where the demise of No Limit starts to happen, when everybody started going to different labels and, you know, start doing their own thing once Beats by the Pound left. So that's why I want to ask you, was that the main reason you left, or one of the reasons you left, or you just wanted to start your own thing?
I mean, believe it or not, man, I had a 8-month pregnant old lady at the time. You know what I mean? And I just didn't have room for excuses on how we was gonna eat. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know what was going on. And once again, I couldn't point my finger at a label. You know, if I was compensated everything I was supposed to be compensated, I you know, I didn't misuse my money. I didn't have, you know, habits and things. I had no whole problems. I mean, I had no, you know what I mean? I had no problems. I just couldn't predict where I was gonna make my next dollar. And I didn't get that clarity. You know what I'm saying? So instead of me pointing the finger at No Limit Records or pointing the finger at Percy Miller, I just went and fed myself. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. You could fact check. There's no back, as y'all say, T. You know, out there. You know what I'm saying? As far as any discrepancies, you know what I'm saying, or something disgruntled. I just went on and fed me, like, you know what I'm saying? And anybody should feel that, you know what I'm saying? If I was your guy, you 8 months pregnant, you depended on me to take care of you, and you can't really figure out at one job how you're going to eat, and you don't know what's going on with them. I don't know what's going on with them. They might have something going on that they can't tell me. They ain't got nothing to do with me, but it may have them in a bind, right?
Right.
So the reality is what? Be a man and go fish for myself, right?
Yeah.
So that's just what I did, man. But I ain't gonna lie, the Beats by the Pound thing confused me a little bit. But I will not say that was my final decision on looking for work elsewhere.
And last question, what is your current relationship with Master P today, currently?
My current relationship with Master P is cool. I got respect for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got more better, awesome memories than bad ones. You know what I'm saying? He's good to hear. Yeah, he used to tell me, if I don't see you in a long time, and if I left you on a good note, when I see you, we should be on a good note.
And for a person that might not have, you know, grew up in the South, or maybe not just like a hip hop lover like that from back in the day, what would you want them to learn about the No Limit Records or Master P from this docu-series?
Well, I think you've got to recognize that he was a pioneer. I mean, you know, the record deal that he was able to get from Priority is unprecedented. You know, going to them and demanding the type of deal that he did, which started out as an 85-15, went to an 80-20. With you know, it kind of, I don't want to say he was faking it till he was making it, but he was definitely making moves that he didn't necessarily have the power to do, especially in the music industry as a young black man. And I just thought, you know, that was powerful. Coming from the South, where people have long since, you know, if it wasn't jazz or blues, people weren't necessarily nationally feeling hip hop in the South, and P put the South on the map. It's true. I mean, Cash Money was there in New Orleans, but they were more regional at that time. P made it national and made it possible for all of these Southern artists that we all have come to love, from Cash Money to Ludacris to, you know, all these different types of artists who blew up out of the South. They can thank P. I mean, even if you go to like 3 6 Mafia, all those types of people, they can thank P.
As the EP on this docu-series, did you ever consider or think about the possible backlash you could receive from having Mystica in this docu-series, being that he has a convicted sexual assault case, and now he has a rape charge as well. So did you ever think about the backlash from that?
Absolutely. I think it's something that's unavoidable. And I'm glad you asked that question. I think for us, and we had these discussions, I mean, myself and the network of what we should do about that. And I think ultimately the decision was made that this documentary was about the record label. And while, Mystical at the point when these things happened was not on No Limit, he certainly could have heeded some of the lessons that he learned from P. And he even says that in the documentary. He says, if I had listened and not been so hard-headed, I wouldn't have found myself in the situations I found myself in. I think, there's a time and a place for that documentary. I think it needs to be explored about what happened with Mystical, because everybody in terms of purely music loves Mystical. And having met him, he's a great guy. Like, just from my interface with him, I don't know him in any other context. He was polite, he was humble, he was open. And so, I think there's definitely a time and a place for that. But for this documentary, with all the history that we needed to do with the label, I think we made a collective decision to not go in depth into that subject.